Hello everybody, welcome to Belgium and to Spa. Now this is a town that has history that goes back to the Middle Ages. Its worldwide fame came due to the thermal baths, known in many languages of course as spas, as is the mineral water. The Spa brand started here. The bourgeoisie of the area built castles around here with royalty and heads of states living here. It was the city of the Ardennes. Next to the town of Spa, many smaller villages like Stavelot and Francorchamps. Francorchamps, of course, the home of the racing track of Spa. Francorchamps, one of the world's most famous tracks, and this week host to the Hankook 24 Hours.
We are in Belgium at the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps for the 12 hours of Spa, powered by Hankook. It's the last race in the European season. Another, I can say it ever again, another legendary circuit in our series. Very famous, of course, Formula 1. Like when I say Le Rouge, when I say Radillon, when I say Blanchimont, everything is Spa. This is racing.
The TCE series raced here last year. This time, the field is even bigger.
Last year we had only the TCE series here, and this year we added the GT series. So we have more cars and more battles, more classes, more fun, more enjoyment, more everything.
The weekend didn't start too well for the number 133 Vaporu Audi. Before free practice, the 133 used to have a nice undamaged livery.
We had a little accident touching the wall with the tires. We had a lot of oversteer, very unexpected in that corner. And while trying to save it, we slide the wall. We took the paint away from the car, but it was just that. So I am happy with having just a little mistake that wasn't very hard for the car.
At least they could continue through the weekend. Not everyone was as lucky.
We were changing a number of things from the previous training to this one, trying to find extra time. We were shifting gears in a different way because of the turbo, and going into Rouge is in 6th instead of 5th. The car just went tail first, and I couldn't control it. The fact is, once I came onto the track again and realizing I was kind of crossed in the middle of the track, I accelerated to get out of it and go on the side. And the marshals helped me to get the car out of the way. And I wasn't really sure how much damage I had, but I could really tell it was a big crash. So that was that.
The GDL 167 couldn't be repaired and therefore wouldn't take part in competition this weekend. For everyone else, it's time for qualifying at this beautiful track in the Ardennes Forest. It's the Bonk 131 car first out to set the time. In the championship, this Cup 1 BMW has a 14-point advantage over its nearest competitor. So this team and the drivers have a huge chance to win the championship. But the final race of this 2018 season has 30 points to the winner. So the team can't really sit back and relax, as cars like the number 303 and 175 want the season win too. Qualifying sets you a spot on the start grid, and that position perhaps not of major importance in an endurance race, but that doesn't stop the competitors trying their hardest to set their very best lap times. As is the case for Motorsport Development's Volkswagen, they've gone over the edge.
So I just lost the rear of the car. Car spun and went in backwards into the barrier. So not very fast. Obviously the car has lot of damage, so he could go on.
Proof that you have to make sure the tyres are ready to do the job.
We had new tires and we had 2 laps to warm them up, and I think probably it was not warm enough, so that's why I lost the rear of the car, but it happens.
Red flag required to collect the car, and the clock stops. Just a short pause though, and cars soon returned to get out and set their fastest times. With 3 different classes, we have multiple pole sitters.
Yeah, it was a really good qualification. We took the pole position in A3 class, and yeah, it was really close with the Honda Civic. So yeah, really exciting for the race. And yeah, let's see what happens. It's my first ever endurance race in a race car, so yeah, I'm really excited.
The drivers are finding out that this track isn't the easiest to set a time on. Late braking from the 178 goes outside track limits. That lap won't count. They'll have to drive another 7 kilometres, just over 4 miles, before they can start another fast lap. There's only minutes left in the session. At least they didn't have the same scare as the number 76 Synchro Honda, just avoiding the 175 Cupra and the circuit barriers. In Cup 1 class, the 303 Cupra of Red Camel Jordan set the best time.
It went pretty well. We are P2 overall in the TCE field and P1 in our class. It went quite okay. We just had bad luck with the red flag because we wanted to go for another run on the end. We definitely could have improved our lap time a little bit, but we are still happy with P1 in our class, and we're looking forward to the race.
Overall pole position secured by the 259 Munchkopf BMW.
Yes, it was very good. There were 2 good laps, and that, yeah, very happy with that. Yes, it is Spa, and it was a new car for me. Dus that was a little bit difficult, but it was very good. That's okay.
An action-packed qualifying session, as the race organisers agree.
Qualification was very exciting, and you saw that the TCR class and the SP3 class were very tight to each other, because at 1 we have an SP3 car and at 2 we have a TCR car, so that's very exciting.
As we prepare to start racing, what can we expect?
It's gonna be hard. We're going to try, but I lost a little bit of confidence. We're having this mistake, so now we're going to have to adapt again and get to speed again. So we're going to try, but it's going to be much harder than in Spain.
Yeah, we will start a little bit easy in the race because we have the slowest car in the race. So yeah, let's see what happens. We have 3 gentleman drivers in the team, and yeah, let's see, everything can happen, but we will cross our fingers.
Our goal is to do the 6th win in the 6th race this season, and also secure the driver championship title in the European Championship. I mean, we already have done it in Barcelona in the team title. We already won it there, and now it's the goal, yeah, to win also the driver team title, the overall title in the TCE Championship.
Not long now before the safety car will pull off the track and the race will be underway.
I expect battles in all the classes. We have 60 cars on the start grid, so it will be, although it's a very long circuit, it will be very busy at the track. Just excitement, that's what I expect.
This race is run at the same time as the 24-hour GT Endurance Series, so there'll be a lot of cars battling for every piece of the track. Stand by for action. The red lights are on. Everyone is ready to start the Hankook 12 hours of Spa-Francorchamps. Lights are out and the final European race of the 2018 season for touring cars has started. Battles for all positions. Everyone hopefully keeping in mind that this is an endurance race and it won't be won in the first corner. Everyone more or less falling in line to get safely through the first right-hander. I think we can say that's a good start to the race.
Yeah, the start was pretty good. We came out P2 after turn 1. The descent was very good.
Even though the 303 Cupra has got a little unstable as it goes through Eau Rouge, all cars have taken this corner up to Radion for the first time. They'll need to do that a few hundred times now before the finish, 12 hours away. It's a bad second lap for Dave Cox in the WEC Motorsport entry, stationary at the start of the main straight. Engine problems mean the team have to retire the car after just 10 minutes of the race. A code 60 required to recover the car. Shortly after that, another code 60, a GT car crashed and needed recovery too. Green flag out again, back up to racing speed. Jean-Laurent Navarro, who was impressive in the first lap, has crashed the 136 Volkswagen.
Yeah, this car has crashed after the 13th lap because there's too much oil on the track, and the driver take the brake, but he brake on the oil and he's crashed. And the Ginetta lose some oil and he's just behind in brake. Now it's not possible to repair it because he has too much damage.
Drivers having problems with a slippery surface.
And there was oil on the track, and he wasn't the only one who went off, so I guess there was some oil.
Not just issues with track grip, the 226 Aston Martin comes in with an electrical problem. The marshals have put down special powder to absorb the oil, and when the cars go back to green flag racing and run over it, it creates a bit of a dust cloud. 156 needs to go back to the pits.
Picked up a real bad vibration. We had to picked up a lot of clag and cut a lot of issues in turn 1. And then after that, we cleared it, came in, cleared the mess. It was okay. We were just took us a little bit of time to sort it out, but it was all right.
The Volkswagen is outnumbered by Seat Cupras, but they all run to the same technical regulations and homologation. That's equal performance and equal racing.
It's very nice to have close racing. It's nice to go to the track and know that we have the same material as all the other ones. So it's up to us as a team to prepare the car, the setup, and the drivers to use the car they have. And the difference will be the drivers and the strategy, and it's a very nice concept for us.
Any driver can only be behind the wheel for a maximum of 2 hours, so Rick Breukers has to come in for a driver change. That gives us the opportunity to ask him to reflect on the first 120 minutes that had a lot of code 60s.
Well, we already were in the front of our TCR class, so we didn't really have to move up or move forward. And from the accidents, I didn't see anything. I just slowed down when I saw the code 60 flags. So it was honestly not that much exciting stunt for me.
The key to handling a code 60 is to keep yourself and the car ready to go back to racing again at any time.
I think no car should really have a problem if you just do zigzag maneuvers or just be a bit careful in the first lap after code 60. It should all be fine. It's just about the tire temperature. You have to get it back up.
The 303 Cupra now in for a change of driver. 10 more hours of racing still to come. This is endurance.
Endurance is at the heart of what we do. So these kind of series where you can get as close to the road car as you can demonstrate the car's aptitude and reliability are the kind of things that we look for. The point is, if I can race and do reasonably well, everybody can do it.
This weekend, the curtain falls on the 2018 European leg of the Hankook 24-hour Touring Car Endurance Series. The Hofferbonk 131 comes into this weekend with a 14-point lead, and even with the dropped scores, where each of the entrants lose their worst score of the year, they know they're this year's champions, but they have even more to fight for.
Yeah, we are leading all the championships, the European Championship and the Worldwide Championship right now. The European Championship looks really good. I mean, the team title is already secured. And now I think we have to be in the second place in this race to secure also the Drivers' Championship title. And in the Worldwide Championship, I mean, yeah, we have to see. We need to win in Austin to also have a chance to win this title too. But it depends also on our opponent, on Ante Buri, who has also really good chances to win the title. So we have to see. But this season, I think we won a lot. We didn't lose anything. I think we just won, and that's just a great feeling.
There's a tight battle in the TCR class between NKPP Racing number 175 and the 303 from Red Camel Jordan.nl.
We have to finish in front of the Baskut and NKPP car, but I think we have the speed to do it, so let's see tomorrow. It's a long race.
This day is special because for the first time after 10 years doing every 24-hour race Creventic has organized, we have a chance of winning a big prize. We are battling with Ivo and Rick Breukers, so we probably lose because they organize the race. And that's a race done over the 4 or 5 circuits we've done in Europe. It's excluding Dubai, excluding Kota. So it's Silverstone, it's Barcelona, it's Imola, it's Portimao, and it's Spa. Those are the 5 races of the European Championship. And the team who has been on the podium has acquired the most points. Will win.
It's a measure of the camaraderie in this paddock that both teams would be just as happy if the other one wins.
Yes, but it's also racing, and it depends on all kind of things. But the most important thing is you're racing together, and the championship is only the final result. We will party anyway.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Back in the race, Ivo Brukus got into the 303 Cupra, but the car was released too early.
We just came in and we had our pit stop, tire change, driver change, and after that I released the car. I was expecting the Audi was just driving in the fast lane in the pit lane, and then he came in quite early, in my opinion, to do his pit stop just a boxes in front of us. And then he was not continuing with the 40 speed in the fast pit lane. So then I released the car and we made contact with the Audi who was coming in to the working lane. So that's what happened during the pit stop.
The team member on the lollipop needs to keep their wits about them. Damage to the car costs time.
We lost 5 minutes doing this pit stop, or the repairing of the car. So that's quite a lot in this TCR class with 18 cars. So we hope we manage to get back to at least podium and to get the championship to us, to our team.
Still being worked on, the number 226 of AMR Performance Centre.
The second Code 60, I think, has given us a lot of trouble because running that long at that speed, I think it's probably caused our electrical issue that's put us in the pit lane for so long. Things got hot, and we'd just taken the class lead after that Code 60 finished. But then 10 seconds later, we had a misfire and it just cut out. So the guys are struggling now to fix it. We expect it will be fixed and we'll be running as good as ever.
Losing the lead this way is something you can get used to.
If it was my first race, I'd be devastated, but it's not the first time this has happened to me in various cars over the years. It's disappointing. It really is, but it's a long race, and we've come back from situations like this before. At Kota last year, when we were second, we lost 11 laps to a drive shaft issue. So we can recover from these things, but it's not ideal. And the frustrating thing is the car was just perfect. The car was so good around here. We were driving well within its limits, and we still could get into the lead of the class. And the track was clear ahead of him, so it was going to be a good couple of laps to make a good gap, come in for the pit stop. But then, like I say, this thing just suddenly came from nowhere, and it has to be related to the Code 60, I'm sure.
Code 60s change the dynamics of the race. When they come out, different teams make different tactical decisions.
It's a little bit of a strategy game. Everyone's on split strategies. There was a lot of Code 60 in the beginning of the race, so the option to choose different strategies was there. And we keep the original strategy. We drive our driving time as much as we can. And we keep moving on.
The team led the race in the early stages, now in 9th, so maybe the tactics weren't the best.
Strategy-wise, it was good. We need to increase the pace a little bit, so we lose a few seconds every lap, so that's why we're falling back. But we push. We will come back. It's a long race. It's two things. You need to drive fast, but you also need to finish the race and avoid incidents. So far we're doing that.
For race drivers, the Spa circuit speaks to the imagination, and everyone jumps at the opportunity to race here.
First time actually. I've been racing 19 years, and I've never raced at Spa. So this is my first race at Spa. It's going to be my birthday next week, so I thought better tick this one off when Baz called me and said, "Do you want to come and race?" But as usual, coming into a team at the last minute without much preparation doesn't make it particularly easy. I'm not going to be the fastest out there. The Audi is quite difficult to drive compared to the Seat or the Cupra. But, the idea was, the usual, keep your tyres in one place. Very difficult with this car because no ABS. It's very easy to lock up a tyre. The other two drivers had to come in early because flat spots. So the idea was to do a full stint, save some fuel, keep the car in one piece and keep out of trouble and enjoy some racing. I had some really great racing with a couple of cars, and even though it's a 12-hour race, we're still racing wheel to wheel.
But we might be saying goodbye to JM as a TCE contender.
It's probably my last race on a TCR. We've got different plans next year, but I will be in Dubai in a GT4. And then, going on to do a slightly different thing next year.
Team ABBA uses their pit stop to put some LED light strips on the car so they can recognise the car at night. That's still a couple of hours away. Let's look at the standings after 4 hours of racing. The SP3 Ginetta from CWS Engineering has taken the overall lead. That number 178 now with a 21-second lead over the 175 Cupra from NKPP Racing in second. That TCR car is a lap ahead of the 118 BMW from JR Motorsport. In the TCR class, sees the NKPP Racing by Baz Cooten in the lead. They've got a lap on the sister car, the 129 Cupra of LMS Racing. On the same lap in third, the Volkswagen 102 of Holmgard Motorsport. Championship leaders Hoffa Racing number 131 leads the Cup 1 class. They have a 3-lap advantage on the rest of the field. Zorg Rennsport 151 in second, JJ Motorsport 156 in third. Spa-Francorchamps is hosting the Hankook 12-hour touring car endurance race for the second time. It's a track where drivers love to race and look forward to coming here.
Yes, very intense. One of the hardest probably in the world, a lot of corners, very fast track, and well, one of the longest. So it was a very intense day, learning about the car, the tires.
You know, you have very fast corners all around here. It's really fast. Rédillon, you have Blanchimont, so it's a really fast track. So it's very interesting.
Spa is great. I think that it is very high board corners, and it is amazing.
You have a lot of difficult corners with a lot of tricky track limits beside that, and also the slower ones in the end of the track. The combination of all corners, that's just amazing and fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of corners. It's going up and down every time, and if we take 3 of the biggest tracks in Denmark, there's still 1 kilometer to this track, so yeah, it's amazing to drive around some laps at the circuit.
If you think about racetracks as being dividing, those who can drive quickly from those who can't, you have to have corners which are difficult. You have to have corners which are compromises. You have to have corners where the car is light sometimes because you're going up and over the top. This track has that.
The track is way more track than I was expecting. I'd seen it on TV before, but the TV doesn't show you the elevation changes and just how big a challenge this track is.
Last year, the race ran in the pouring rain. It's different this year.
So we left Spain in very bad weather, raining and really bad, and came here to this wonderful weather, which we hadn't expected, but that was a very nice surprise.
Racing on the circuit, the cars in the Touring Car Endurance Series as well as the GT Endurance Series. But they're not all out on track. The 137 Seat of RWP Racing has been in the pits for quite some time.
We have electrical issues. We started to have them yesterday already. We're trying to fix it, and it's been a little bit disaster, let's put it this way. So it's been from the start of the race, and we only got 1 or 2 laps under our belt, so we're trying to fix it. I think hopefully it's getting fixed. We've been tracing it. It's somewhere in the looms, electrics. We've been chasing different control boxes. Now we're chasing injectors on a car, and let's see. Don't know, tough to say.
Trouble at the first corner for the 141. We see the car flashing by in the picture, leaving debris on the track. When the car comes back to view, smoke is proof that there's been some damage. The car will need repair. More cars coming in for a visit to the pits, including the Munchkopf 259 BMW, out on circuit with an unconventional wheel configuration.
Yeah, normally we have 4 wheels on the car, and we lost one. We had some problem when I did my first stint. I go up and in the middle of the circuit somewhere, I feel that the car was not good. And I thought at the first time we had a flat tire, but it wasn't because the wheel was shivering. And I talked to my crew what can happen, and they said come slowly to the pit box. So I did it, but at the end I lost my wheel.
The Lestrup Racing Team Volkswagen been working hard to make up time lost earlier in the race. But for Peter Falstrom and the car, the race ends here. If we shuttle the pictures backwards and forwards, we see the 110 sliding sideways into the barriers at Radillon. Retirement for the Volkswagen, but not bad news for everyone. as other cars that have been being worked on are able to return to the track, even though they're not battling for the lead anymore.
The car had an electric problem with the injector. We need to change this. Now it's okay, but we lose some laps. With this car, the position is not important because we lose some laps. Now we just drive for the driver, take more confidence with the car for the other race, for the next race.
Remember the number 141 Seat we saw going off track? The mechanics have worked hard on that one too.
It was the problem of the steering. It was broken, the steering. And then we had to repair for half an hour to repair, yeah. Now it's, well, difficult because the behavior of the car is not so nice, no? It's difficult. Because you cannot have the alignment of the tires, you know? And then it's not very good, yeah.
So back on track, fighting, but with no chance of reaching the podium.
Why? Well, 24 hours series is very nice for the team, for the colleagues, and so very nice.
This is endurance.
Endurance is really long breath and playing as a team. If the driver thinks he must be the fastest in the car, he must be the fastest of the team, it's not a good way. He needs the mechanics. The mechanics need the drivers and even the stewards and the marshals around the track. It's a game of all. It's not only a game of the driver itself.
The Seats and Cupras are a big slice of the field, but there's still plenty of variety.
It's a Volkswagen Golf GTI TCR, built by Volkswagen Motorsport. It's a 2-liter turbo engine, and yeah, we're racing the TCR class with several cars with almost exactly identical machinery.
Aston Martin is born in racing, so it's the founder of the company, Mr. Martin, racing up Aston Martin Hill, or Aston Hill became Aston Martin. So racing is in our 105 years of DNA, and we live it, and we live it more and more of late. So whether it's WEC, whether it's 24-hour racing, 12-hour racing, you may have heard we've just committed to going to DTM. And of course Formula One, so we're present now in most forms of racing, and that's I would say demonstrates the DNA that we have, which of course then lends itself both to cars like Vantage, our two-seater sports car, but also in future to cars like Valkyrie.
You can do an awful lot with the livery on a car, and in honour of their American drivers, JJ Motorsport surprised them with a US-based livery. Their Scottish driver, Alistair McEwen, though, decided it needed a little improvement.
So I'm the Scottish driver in the team, and so we like sheep, and so we have a couple of sheep there in amongst all that stars and stripes. We got to make a statement.
New entrants are always welcome in Creventic events. New entrants, though, not always inexperienced.
It's the first time with Creventic, yeah, but we run 4 different categories. So we run the Le Mans Cup, and we also run ELMS once in a while with the Ligiers. We run GT4 cars in the Spanish Championship. We started to run the TCR cars here, and we're the first race team with a Tesla. We have the first race Tesla in the world, so we just came from Istanbul, where we were running that against Red Bull Formula One car and F-16 fighter.
But you do need to know how to set up a car for this series, something the regular teams are very good at.
I think we have one of the best setups because our car is doing really well. We are really quick, and I think we are very confident for the race.
Aston Martin CEO Andy Palmer has a problem keeping his Vantage under control, and the AMR Performance Centre car spins off the track.
Like every driver, you blame the car, but the car is brilliant. But the tyres were going off. It was quite late in the in my stint, so the tyres had already done, I think, 35 laps, and I was coming through a left-hander. Had a little bit of understeer, tried to correct it on the throttle, gave it a little bit too much throttle, and it spun, put me into the gravel. Fortunately, it didn't bury me in the gravel, so I was able to drive out and carry on. But my mistake, these things happen. If you don't spin, you're not trying hard enough, as they say.
They've been working hard, but the car isn't as high in the standings as they expected.
We had a little problem earlier with a fuel pump, so our job now is basically just finish the race. We're a bit behind. Maybe some other teams may fall out, and so now it's a war of attrition.
Marshals are an essential part of motorsport. They watch out for what's happening on the track, they help out when things go wrong, but watching what the drivers are doing too, as Baz Cooten finds out when he gets the order from race direction to come back to the pits, the Marshals had spotted wasn't wearing all of his safety gear.
Some of the drivers, we need to explain that they need all their equipment, including hand gloves. Yeah, it's a pity. We check everything. Most of the time also the driver, but in this case we didn't check him.
Roberto Furry has been pushing the Paparo Audi to the max. Evidence the smoke from the brakes as he takes a pit stop for his driver change. Pushing the car hard though certainly required as the team tries to make up time that they lost earlier.
It's been a great experience so far. We had some issues with the engine or with the turbo. We lost some time here in the boxes. But the other car from our team, the 147, is doing pretty well right now. So we're putting all our hopes on them, see if that may be a good result for the team. And well, we can see how far we can go with the Audi. Just having lost some time, now trying to get it back on the track.
The number 141 Seat Leon of Tic Tap Toc Car Sport have had plenty of issues already. Now we're well past the halfway. Let's find out what they expect for the second half of the race.
Expect the finishing podium, but it's difficult, but the problem in the car is difficult in the fourth position. Fourth position in the class, in the R3, in the end of the race.
Code 60. Everyone has to slow down to 60 kilometres an hour. There's a crash. It's the 152 BMW of Zorg Rennsport that has gone into the barriers.
So we were at the top of a Rouge, and the car was just getting loose as the session went on, and just got loose and stepped out on me, and I couldn't save it. Ended up on the inside wall, just kind of pinballed, and it just happened in a fraction of a second.
That car won't be back on track today.
Oh no, we're done for the day, but they're just getting the car ready to go to COTA for the next event. So it's going to head off to the US to Austin, Texas.
Coming into the race in Belgium this weekend, Red Camel Jordan.nl certainly had the upper hand in the TCR Season Championship. But right now, NKPP is leading the race, and they are the orange-coloured Cupra's biggest rivals. The battles in the TCR class have been the fiercest all year. So what's the current status for the championship hopefuls?
It's a tough race. It's a tough race, and yeah, we are chasing, but we had a little accident in the beginning. Our car is not behaving very well, so we're struggling.
So what does this mean exactly for their championship aspirations?
It means that as it looks now, we lost it, but you never know what can happen, so we keep on pushing. But if nobody makes mistakes, then it's a done deal.
New set of Hankook tyres and a visit to a busy fuel station for the number 234 Team ABBA Racing's BMW M3. Let's check their position in the overall standings after 8 hours of racing here at Spa. NKPP Racing by Baz Cooten is leading with the 129 of LMS Racing by Baz Cooten. They're a lap apart at the moment with CWS Engineering 178 Ginetta, less than 13 seconds further back. The Red Camel 303, 5th position, 3 laps down from the race leader. In SP3, 3rd place 259 Munchkoff BMW. In second, JR Motorsports number 118 is 5 laps behind the class leader, the 178 from CWS. Synchro Motorsports Honda number 76 is currently holding the A3 class lead, 4 laps the advantage over Dan Agro Racing number 185. PDM Motorsports 999 dropped to 3rd. There's only 4 hours to go for the European leg of this season, but there will be another race in the Championship of the Continents. That's in Austin, Texas, at the Circuit of the Americas. This weekend has seen the publication of the 2019 calendar, and it's bigger than ever. Creventic is now organising even more series. For 2019, there are 14 GT races, 13 for touring cars, and 7 for prototypes. The GT and TCE series will be combined for the European Championship in 2019. It all kicks off at the 12 Hours of Mugello in March. A month later, the season continues at the 12 Hours of Spa. The 12 Hours of Brno returns to the calendar in May. Just over a month later, it's early July for the 24 Hours of Portimao. And after the summer break, the season finale is the 24 Hours of Barcelona. In the Championship of the Continents, the results for Portimao and Barcelona are combined with the season opener for the 24 Hour series. That's the 24 Hours of Dubai in January, of course. And the season finale back at the 24 Hours of Kota in November. The Proto Championship has been revamped. The GT cars are also allowed in these races, and they're now 6 hours straight through. Their first race is the 6 Hours of Dubai, moving to Europe for the 6 Hours of Brno and the 6 Hours of Portimao, the season finishing in the USA with the 6 Hours of Kota. And that's not all. There's a separate 24-hour series Middle East Championship for prototypes, GT and touring cars. That championship kicks off with the 6 Hours of Dubai at the end of January. A week later, it's Abu Dhabi for a 4-hour contest. And the longest proto race on the calendar is the 10 Hours of Dubai in the second week of February. And there's good news for touring car racing fans, as those same weekends, there'll be 2 30-minute sprint races for the Middle East Touring Car Series that's now organised by Creventic. All of this means that those teams who enter now can have their cars shipped to the Middle East for 4 race weekends and have them back again in Europe before the bulk of the season starts. All the current information is at the website. The 24-hour Touring Car Endurance Series is powered by Hankook, but has other technical partners that make the races possible. All of the data traffic is handled by Com1.
Com1 provides IT services all across the world for events. We are specialized in managed services. So basically what we do is we provide IT connectivity, network connectivity, so Wi-Fi, internet, voice over IP, broadcasts, so video broadcasts, and that on an ad hoc basis. So what we do is we go to an event, and within a few days we build up the whole setup just for the event, and then we break down and we go home again.
But they're not just here for business. They're motorsport lovers too.
If you compare this to, for example, Formula 1 or DTM, what I like most about this is the struggle the teams show, the struggle the teams have to actually go beyond that extra step, finishing at all. That's really quite amazing to see. It's fascinating seeing all these drivers, all the teams struggling to get the car over the finish line in the end. So that makes it a lot more interesting to watch than to me, for example, as Formula 1.
The Hankook 12 Hours of Spa-Francorchamps has a packed field, so it's not surprising that little mistakes do happen once in a while. Fortunately, most without any serious consequences. Just as the SPV Racing number 1, 2, 3. Once again, a touring car spinning in this corner, but the other drivers avoid him, and Ulf Hildebeck can continue his race. John Landrum in the 156 JJ Motorsport BMW is slow on track.
Yeah, we picked up a real bad vibration. We had to picked up a lot of clag and caught a lot of issues in turn 1. Brought it in, changed tires up front, and that did the trick. So, yeah, it was on the same corner where we'd had the incident before, so it was better safe than sorry. It took us a little bit of time to sort it out, but it was all right.
Fortunately, not a major issue. A relief for him and his teammates who are enjoying this event.
I think it's fantastic. I'd love to do more of this. So, although I've never done endurance events, so I'm not used to being in the car this long.
So how does someone who has no endurance racing experience get involved in a Creventic event?
You know, Pascal, the team manager, he organised us so we all know what we're supposed to be doing, and then as much as possible we comply and get it done. So, and then driving with all these other guys, I mean, we're in one of the slower cars, so it's always concerned the fast cars coming up behind, and those drivers have been great. They've been very considerate, because I think they understand that we can't necessarily see them because the closing speed is so high. So they've been giving us lots of consideration. So it's very safe, it's good.
Accidents do happen though. Sometimes TCE cars can't manage to avoid GTs ahead of them. During the resulting Code 60, it's getting dark here in Belgium. The lights on the cars have to be turned on. Of course, they're needed for safe driving in the dark, but sometimes they can be a nuisance.
Sometimes the problems are the lights too bright. Yes, but it's okay. Yes.
Seaman Kanab brings the 259 into the pit lane and needs help from his crew to get to their garage. It's a problem that can't be fixed and the car has to retire. Bad luck for the Munchkoff team, who have quite a lot of experience in this series. But there are teams for whom this race is a first.
It's been good. For us, it's a learning experience with this format. It's a bit different than we normally run, but we're running. We're 10th and 12th position, I think, in the TCR. But it's looking fairly good. The cars are good, drivers are good.
Another driver who can tick racing at Spa off his bucket list is Konstantin Kletzer.
It actually was my first time here in Spa, and it was nice to race on a circuit like that. It's very, very spectacular to race through the Ardennes mountains, and I really like it. Many fast corners. That's my type of racing actually. I think I improved a lot during the weekend.
Currently 13th of the 19 cars in TCR, so a podium probably not likely for the team. This is endurance.
Endurance is just a great team play, teamwork with all drivers, with all team members, with a lot of fun we have all the weekend long, because it's not just one day. We have always a weekend with 3 or 4 days in a row, and so endurance racing is just a great fun and a great sport.
Full dark now in Spa. Racing very different compared to what it was in the daytime conditions. But all of the drivers do have a little darkness experience.
After the qualification we had the night practice, 1.5 hours night practice, and for the drivers it's very difficult because this is Belgium, this is the Ardennes, and it's very dark here at night, so they really need the time to get used to the dark.
Every driver has to come out for night practice. Staying in the hotel, not an option.
No, it's not allowed because everyone needs to see how it is out there. The organization doesn't want any driver to go out in a race without knowing how it's looking in the night.
There's a wide range of experience of nighttime driving, so that means the night practice went differently for some of the competitors.
At night, dark qualifying practice, yes, is the first time I've driven in the dark. So that was a big experience.
I drove so many hours during the night. It's not going so fast than when you're driving with normal today. But I think it will be good. I think it will be 2 minutes 40. I think that will be the seconds we will do at the circuit.
But there are certainly many drivers who look forward to a stint in darkness.
I think it is really special is the team spirit and the driving at night and so on. The day and night drives and so on. You can just drive at night, usually in long distance races and 12 or 24-hour races, and that's the thing what makes it really special.
In the overall top 3 and leading the SP3 class, the 178 Ginetta of CWS Engineering, they're having a fantastic race.
We've been sort of first, second and third. Currently, I think we're running in first in class, so we're trying to sort of do our final victory at the end of the season sort of thing, you know.
No easy feat for this 2-driver team.
Really hard work. It's only 2 of us driving, so we're doing 2 hours each all the way through the day, and it's been hot today, but the track's been beautiful, good fast racing, so really good fun.
A team that's had their fair share of issues is the tongue-twisting tic-tap-tot car sport. Isidoro Diaz-Guerra Gonzalez has just been hit by a GT car and needed some help from the pit crew.
It was been very difficult because we have quite a lot of crashes in the race. No, then for us we had too many repairs in the workshop. Yeah, it has been this the problem.
They weren't the only team that have suffered from contact. As the 94 Porsche passes the 115 Audi, the driver sees some debris, tries to avoid it, but as a result touches the Bonk Motorsport entry.
I got a car tried to lap me and tried to overtake me on the wrong side because that was the side where I was obviously going. very distinctively. But he came from behind and hit me on the side and pushed me into the barriers basically. Or I was passenger at that moment of time. So it felt spectacular. You can bet on it. It's not nice.
30 minutes required to clear the track and repair the barriers before full speed racing could resume, but not for the Bonk 115. Their race ended here. The 24-hour series powered by Hankook visited Spa-Francorchamps last year, but the weather was very different from this weekend. Last year, cold and rainy, not so much today.
Spectacular. We were here last year and had to come back. We get here and we're like, oh, this is what it was supposed to be like last year. This is incredible. So, yeah, great time, great time.
Enjoying their friendly rivalry as usual, Ivo in the 303 and Gijs in the 175.
It's been a nice race, been a good race. It's always like this. We're always battling, we always have a lot of fun. Yeah. If I see his car on the track, I start smiling. And it gives me an extra second in a lap. Yeah. It's the other way around.
If I see the orange car in front of me, I really get orange in my eyes and I want to push to catch up with Ivo.
Yes. We always have fun. And if we pass each other, we wave. We always wave.
It's their teammates Harry Hilders and Rick Broikers who'll finish, and Rick has quite a gap to make up in just 30 minutes.
Half an hour for his son to push all the limits in his little orange car to catch up with us, but he won't.
I'm afraid it's not going to happen. The margin is too big, but he's pushing like hell. If it's smart, we don't know, because he's pushing and that's a little bit risky.
We'll know in 29 minutes.
It seems though that neither of those teams will be overall season champions. That honour at the moment in the hands of Hoffa Racing.
In the moment we're leading, drivers and team. And in the TCE class and the Club 1 class as well. So we are minutes before the finish flag now, it's still going on, so something can happen, but still we're in the lead in the Cup class and overall in the TC1 class for the overall championship.
That would be the icing on the cake for the team after a very successful season.
It's great success, new car for me with a very good team and lots of good drivers. My old teammate Bernd Cooper is driving as well the car. I take him over from his team to our team. It's perfect, yes.
12 enjoyable hours of racing is coming to an end. The 234th Team ABBA Racing in the pits for a 20-second time penalty, as on track the last lap board is being shown. One or two might still be pushing very hard, which could be a risky move. You could easily throw away some valuable points, possibly even damage the car. And let's not forget, on Wednesday, these cars are being shipped to America for the final leg in the Championship of the Continents, which will be held on the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. No surprise then that most of the competitors avoid overstressing their cars on this final lap. Checkered flag has fallen, and the first to cross the line, the CWS Engineering 178. In the last stint of the race, the car has managed to snatch the lead. 12 hours of racing, and they've won with only 20 seconds of a gap. This is the essence of racing. This is endurance.
It's a little bit nervy. Just kind of knocked the lap times off a little bit and just wanted to keep it rotating. Great race. We've won obviously our class and won the overall TCE, so really pleased. And that one's for my dad, who couldn't be here unfortunately either.
The Ginetta was first to cross the finishing line, but it wasn't quite 100% a Ginetta.
And I got to say thank you to BMW Motorsport, because they sold me a key component for my air jacks for the pit stops, because we had an air jack go wrong, and they had a spare in their truck and they sold it to me and we put it on the car, and that's at least part of a BMW won the race.
And this won't be their last race this weekend.
Unfortunately, I've got to drive tomorrow morning because someone's racing at the Nürburgring tomorrow.
So yeah, for me, I've got to not drink like a one beer I expect, because I need to sign on at the Nürburgring at 8:30 tomorrow morning. We've got a 4-hour race there to do, so in the Nordschleider. So something different tomorrow, racing, you know.
They're not the only team with big smiles on their faces.
Right, well
Very
done.
happy, yeah?
We are very happy, and we are proud.
Very nice race.
Oh,
You have to be proud. You have to be proud.
Look at boys. Together.
Hell of a ride. Hell of a ride.
Together, go 1, 2, 3. Hooray!
The CWS Engineering Ginetta claimed the top step. Second, the 175 Cupra. NKPP Racing, they fell short by just 20 seconds, but still take the TCR class win, with the Red Camel Jordan.NL a lap further back. A quick look at the top three in each category. Confirmation of the TCR top three. NKPP 175 win it from Red Camel number 303 second, LMS number 129 third position. The overall winners are the SP3 winners as well. 178 Ginetta 6 laps ahead of JR Motorsport in second. Team ABBA BMW finished the race in third. In A3, the Synchro Motorsport Honda number 76 took a 5-lap victory over a good battle for second. PDM Motorsport 999 finally getting the decision over the 185 from Dan Agro Racing in third. And in Cup 1, it goes to the 131 Hoffer Racing car over Zorg Rennsport 151 second, and JJ Motorsport finished in third. The race results were not the only podium celebrations at Spa. The season champions were also announced. We'll confirm the European champions in our year-end review. You'll be able to see that at the beginning of 2019.
Thanks, guys.
There were lots of position changes and excitement on track, smart overtaking and some passes that went haywire. We've seen it all in the 12 Hours of Spa 2018 and we'll be back to race here in 2019. Our next race is the Championship of the Continents final in Austin, Texas at the Circuit of the Americas. We'll say goodbye for now for the European races, but be part of next season as a spectator or better still as a competitor. All the information you need, 24htceseries.com.